Hi, my name is Brandon, and I'm an alcoholic and addict in recovery. I was watching an episode of the show Community last night, and one of the main characters said something along the lines of, "This is going to be just like my rehab group where everybody said they'd stay in touch, and the only guy who did was the guy who made something out of bottle caps." I can't remember. And it was a funny line, but it made me remember that the realities of what happens after a stay at a residential treatment center. And I wanted to speak to it because a lot of people don't have a good sense of what is a likely outcome of the relationships that form at a residential treatment center. So when I was staying at a residential treatment center, I was very close to the people that I was there with. There were probably about 16, 17 of us. And when you're in that situation, you've got people who are coming and going, but a lot of times there's usually a core group that you feel very much a part of. You start to feel like family, and it makes sense. You're doing everything together. You're talking about your innermost feelings. You're really getting to know each other well. You're supporting each other through very difficult time in your lives. So you really start to feel like family. If anybody's ever been, who's watching this, has ever been to a summer camp or any kind of thing like that, it's a similar experience where when you leave, you are convinced that you've made lifelong friendships, that you will always be in touch with these people. This is your family that you're leaving with. And the truth is that more than likely what's going to happen when you exit a residential treatment center is that in the beginning you will stay in touch with the people that you were there with. But inevitably, some of those people will go back to using, no matter how much support you or other members of the group are providing. More than likely, some of those people will go back to using. It may not happen immediately, but it will likely happen fairly quickly. There will be some people who drop off, who not necessarily go back to their life of addiction, but who, once they get back into the world outside the residential treatment center, are excited about incorporating their new sober life into their old sober life, and don't really want to into their old life, and don't really want to mix things up as much as they thought they might. And then you might end up like I did. I'm very fortunate that I do have some friends. It's been almost 2 years now. I do have one friend in particular who I have been in very close contact with that entire time. And we check on each other. He can tell from times that I'm in meetings where when I'm not feeling quite right, I can do the same thing, and we check in on each other, see how we're doing. And I feel very fortunate to have that friendship. But that's one out of, when we first left treatment, we had a group chat going with about 12 or 13 other people. And that's one out of those people. There are other people that I'm in touch with who are still sober, still in recovery, but I will reach out to them and get a response. They don't necessarily reach out to me that much, and that's okay. But I have seen people get discouraged by the fact that what they thought was a group of lifelong friends and a built-in support system did not become a permanent fixture in their lives after residential treatment. And that's why it's so important to immediately, when you get out of residential treatment, start expanding your recovery network. Start going to meetings. Whatever program you're working, start going to meetings. start reincorporating yourself back into regular society. I think that's really important. I think it's okay to go back to, I mean, as if you had friends before going into treatment who were not addicts and alcoholics, reincorporate with them. Learn to rely on them for support. Just because they're not alcoholics and addicts doesn't mean they can't support you. I've got a very close friend who's someone that I used to get drunk and high with. He is not an alcoholic or addict. In fact, he was very supportive of my choice to not engage in that anymore. And we're still very close friends. When we're together, he doesn't drink, he doesn't do anything except have a cup of coffee with me. And if I'm having a hard day, I can reach out to him and he will support me. It's important for us to expand our network of people who we can get support from, and then be willing to reach out to those people. And you know, the support group that we get from a residential treatment center feels great when you're leaving, and you get this feeling of, if I can just have this for the rest of my life, then I'm good. I'll be good. And I am here to tell you, you probably can't, because some of those people will go back. I mean, one of my best friends in residential treatment was at the bar 12 hours after he got out. You know, and he didn't call me beforehand to say, hey, I'm thinking about doing this, I need some help. He just went. So, you know, as much as it would be nice for us to be able to carry that support group that we got in the residential treatment center on with us through the rest of our lives, we gotta find more people, gotta expand our network. And the way I think about it is, I constantly want to be making new friends and new acquaintances in recovery. I constantly want to be doing that, because the more people that I have that I can lean on, the more opportunity I also get to help others, which is a huge part of my recovery. But at the end of the day, I know that people come, people go, and the more robust of a network that I've got of people that are in my recovery life, the better chance I'm going to have of finding someone who can help me out when I'm really in need of it. That's what it's all about. And the other thing is that the more people I get to know, the more people come to me and ask me for help. And that's also a big part of it. So it's important when you're leaving a residential treatment center to find new avenues for support and then start to build on those, because the family that you think you have in residential treatment center, hold on to it, do everything you can to really feed that relationship, but just be prepared that those people may not stick around as long as it seemed like you would all stick around when you were in the center together. That's it for today. I'll be back here tomorrow with more. Have a good one.